Oh my God. Okay, we're here. We did it. We did it.
It's working. Don't touch anything.
Don't touch anything. For some reason, NDI just decided to stop working, and I don't know if anyone
Yeah.
knows how to use NDI. If you do, please message me. I'm like every week's a different problem, but I think we got it working. I think audio should be good. Um,
Well,
Sean,
let's hope so. Hi.
Sean's back. Like, yeah, everything's good.
Hi, everybody.
So,
Yeah.
episode 3,
Episode 3 of the new Detroit City Supporter Radio. Um,
we got a lot to talk
yeah,
about.
we
Let's
do.
just
We
go.
are.
Let's just go, right?
We're getting stuck into the season now. Weekly matches, weekly shows. Yeah. Sorry about last week. Um, yeah, I am delivering pizzas to make money, and a bunch of the kids quit.
Oh,
So I
yeah,
was working on Wednesday night. It's rough,
pizza.
um, but we gotta keep the people of Grand Blanc full of pizza. So um,
So
uh,
I heard well actually while we were recording that you were tuning in, right? Making sure that it
yeah,
was going smooth.
yeah. Early on, I actually, one of the things I told you in the comments that you guys didn't touch on, I later turned into a piece that on Words About Shapes this week,
Yeah.
which was about the USLW, or the USL Super League, being
Yes.
like a big selling league potentially. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm it's very clear that, the reason why you would go down that international calendar route is to be on the calendar to buy and sell players. Like,
Right. Want
so
to be in the market.
yeah.
Right.
No, that's like super exciting. So thank you, Jackie, for filling in
Yes. Thanks, Jackie,
when
for
we needed you. You did
jumping on the
great.
grenade.
Very last minute.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna call the house DCSR Studios now, though. Just
Right. I mean, I think you could write it off now, like
yeah, yeah,
officially
yeah, yeah, yeah.
part of the empire.
So we got so much. Like, what are we starting with, Sean?
We're gonna do the USL whip around, baby. We're gonna talk about all the million. I mean, we are not used to being in. I mean, first of all, leagues aren't this big generally. I
No,
mean,
no.
in world football, like 24, because usually you play a round robin where you play everybody twice, or you play everybody once, home and
Yep,
home.
yep, yep.
Um, so if you got 24 teams in the league, you've got a 46 match season. It's getting pretty heavy. I don't what does the championship have, like
30,
30,
30. Yeah. It would.
31, 33? I don't know.
It's
It's
like
like it's an odd number.
37
Um,
games. I know that.
and but it's it's a really big league. And so it kind of feels a little bit like, as a Detroit City supporter, it's a little overwhelming, the kind of fire hose of results. Like right now, Red Bull 2 and Louisville City are playing. And I believe Atlanta United 2 and Tampa Bay are playing. That's four Eastern Conference teams that are playing right now.
That's crazy.
You could go ahead and tune in on, like,
ESPN.
on ESPN Plus, and just mute it, and just get smarter about Tampa Bay or Louisville City. Honestly, the two teams are like, it's pretty clear
The
already that they're going to be cannon fodder, like straight cannon fodder. They're going to go straight to the foot of the table, and
Yep.
one of the tests of your season will be not dropping any points to them.
Yep.
Finding the requisite,
You're
like,
talking the
self-discipline.
two teams, right?
The two teams. I'm talking about Red Bull 2. I'm talking about Atlanta United 2. Probably even Los Dos, the LA 2. Now, Lowdown is a different thing, as we'll talk about.
That's
But
yeah, we'll get to that.
but
But isn't that
they're not
like
a
a
two.
DC too? Yeah.
They're a DC United, joint. But they're doing well, obviously. Then we'll talk about that later. Then later tonight, Tulsa is the last Eastern team to play.
Okay.
They're I think they're hosting San Diego,
Cool.
which is Lando.
Lando, yeah.
Um, El Paso is playing Las Vegas, and Los Dos are hosting Rio Grande Valley. So that's all tonight. That's the midweek
Yeah,
matches.
wow.
But what I was the whip around really is supposed to be like, what happened last week, and of course, in our neck of the woods, Detroit City beat Charleston, and we'll talk about that in its own section.
Yep.
But for the rest of the league, just to kind of run through this, because we need to become conversant with these teams in order to like have rivalries
Yep.
and
knowing about
embed ourselves.
Yeah. The more you know.
Right. Well, you have to, you can't talk shit to like randos very effectively. You have to know something about people to really get under their skin. So.
Oh man, I have a lot to talk about with Phoenix once we get there too. So.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Awesome. So, kicking off the weekend, Loudoun United crushed Red Bull 3-0, and it was that bad. Like they just kept the ball, and
they're passing a lot, aren't they? They're like tiki-taka USL ball.
Yeah. So far.
I
mean, it's hard to they played Red Bull 2. I don't know who they played in the first week. But I don't get the impression they've played anybody very good yet.
Okay.
So, it could be that's how they play until somebody keeps the ball from them. I don't know.
For sure.
We'll
Yeah.
And, that's part of what's fun about this part in the season. Like a team like that shows up, and you're like, okay. I mean, they really are playing, short passing, possession football. So
yeah, definitely.
Good on them. The next one was Los Dos lost to they hosted San Antonio, who we played in the first weekend, and lost to them 2-1. I think if I'm San Antonio, this is kind of
that's the must
like
win.
Almost an alarm bells kind of like performance, because they were ahead the whole match. Mullet Hobbit scored like 10 minutes in.
Loera?
That's
Yeah.
David Loera that came in and changed the match for us against us.
Got the start.
Right, and then the second goal, they got a second goal off a set piece.
Okay.
But as soon as they got the lead, Elliot Collier is one of the guys they really were kind of counting on to be a leader. He's got a lot of MLS experience. He was hurt against us. He came back in this second match and got a red card immediately after the Los Dos had gone down a man.
Oh my God.
And you've just taken the lead. That's a time that I don't care what has happened. Like, just walk away. Like, you've got this one, just take a little walk and go into your mind palace. Like, be a leader here. And he got a red card for foul and abusive language.
Wait, so he swore?
Yeah.
And...
So he said something.
He's like, bullshit.
Got him sent off.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then you got, wow. Okay. That's not championship team mentality.
Yeah, that's not. I was really like, wow. Yeah. So the Kiwi, tough night for the Kiwi. Okay. Next match was Memphis 2. Oakland. I just don't want this to be a 45-minute segment.
Yeah. No. Power. Let's do it. So Memphis, Ben Pierman.
Ben Pierman.
Playing them
beat
soon.
Oakland 2. Right. Beat Oakland 2-1. Really, I think it was a Ben Pierman match, right? They had 36% possession.
Oh God.
Went up 2 goals. They went up 2 goals and kind of held on to win. Gave up a goal. Looked really nervy, but got through it. Although on the other hand, they could have won. Like if they put away they created a bunch of chances.
Okay.
In the first half that they could have been well and completely in charge of the match.
And are you just chalking that up to like early season?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's hitting the post a lot. Everybody's, the moves are not quite happening anyone.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah, but for me, if I'm looking at that, I'm saying 36% possession at home,
yeah.
Woo! I don't think Oakland's like vintage Barcelona, and you gave them 64% possession at home. Like, I don't know, man.
It's just pyramid ball. At least
anyway.
DCFC coaches like to beat Oakland, so.
Right, exactly. Next match features our next opponent, Pittsburgh. They hosted and defeated Hartford 2-1. We'll get more into this later, but it's hard to say what to like. We'll talk about this later. But the thing to take away from Pittsburgh starting atop the league right now, they'll be in first place until the matches tonight end, and Louisville City will probably be in first place then. Each opponent has gotten a red card fairly early, and this one, Like it's
Yeah,
like the 39th minute.
yeah. Actually, I actually had the game on kind of before we started broadcasting and rewatched it, and I was just like, yeah, they should have probably done a bit better, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we'll get to that, but like, yeah, it's
I mean
hopefully the numbers are not exactly indicative of, well, for us, hopefully they are indicative
yeah,
of something greater, but we'll see.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. We'll get into
Next
it.
match.
Yeah, Louisville City. So far, Louisville City looks like one of the class teams in the league. They beat the Miami FC
Ooh,
2-0 in Louisville, and really, it was a match that Louisville
typical.
City
Yep,
deserved to
yep,
win.
yep.
Um, Indy 11 lost to Tampa, visited Tampa Bay, lost to the Rowdies 2-0. Indy 11 was a team that there were like very early in the off season this year. There were rumors that Indy 11 was a team that was going to really spend on payroll, and then they just didn't. It didn't quite happen.
Interesting.
And they look like right now a team that is on the struggle bus pretty seriously.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Um,
Uh,
I've seen some leaks too of some indie fans, and it is not, it's grim right now to be an indie supporter.
uh, yeah, I mean, I just don't see like looking at the players they have, like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Who knew that we'd be, like we're at the point where we're looking at Indy 11's roster and going, yeah, that ain't it, Chief. Um, but here we are. Next one, Colorado Springs beat up on the new guy, Monterey Bay, who
Yeah,
haven't got a point yet.
thank
Beat
God.
him 1-0.
Thank God.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we got 3 points.
Yeah,
We're off
no,
the
we're
we're off
good.
the schneid. Like we're not even new guys anymore. We're fine. Um, the next match was a big, like this is
Yeah,
two of the better teams in the
yeah.
West, El Paso and New Mexico, and New Mexico got the road win in El Paso, 2-1. I haven't dug into this match really at all. I
Me
just
either.
that's you've just heard the depth of my knowledge about what happened in that match. So if you got anything, it's time for a bluegrass. Take it.
Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to a Reno game um, couple years ago before the pandemic and decided not to. 'Cause it was like
Ah,
I had heard horrible things about the game day atmosphere there, just like very boring and whatever, and the team sucked. So I was like, nope, I'm not gonna go. So good for them for beating El Paso.
yeah, yeah.
So-
Okay. Okay. So moving along, Tulsa has looked pretty good in the early season, although I think they lost. They were the ones that lost to Charleston, right, in the opener.
um,
Um,
sorry, I was
but I
looking at,
think that
yeah. Yep.
yeah, I think they lost to the opener and maybe like they were a man down or something. But yeah, they beat Birmingham 3-1, and Dario Suarez was
Dario.
playing really well.
Yeah,
Was playing really
go
well for
figure.
Tulsa.
Go figure. Dario
Um,
playing well.
yeah, and Birmingham, this is a match that was Birmingham were in this match. It was not like a blowout. But once they were down a goal and then down a man, and
That's it.
were pushing
Yeah.
pushing to equalize and got countered on. The next one is the big kind of shock of the weekend.
They stole our thunder.
Las Vegas Lights.
They stole our thunder.
Yeah, with the bedside or the pitch side beds and
Oh, the
llamas
Nisa
and every other
shenanigans.
thing. They're like Nisa with feathers on, like but they beat Phoenix, and it was and when Detroit City hosted the fall championship, that first Nisa tournament
Against
in 2020,
Oakland.
and no, Danny Trejo played for the LA
Oh, the
Force
LA one.
in that one,
Yeah.
and he was really good, but he got a hammer. Like he was somebody that I think obviously had a future. I think he got drafted by like LAFC, and he's been kind of cut loose by them
Okay.
since all of that happened. But I mean, he looked very good in that tournament in
Yeah, yeah,
2020.
yeah, absolutely.
Got a hamstring thing, and then we didn't have to deal with him. Yeah, but he scored the first goal, created the second, and was man of the match for Las Vegas Lights. So that's what if you're like, where's Danny Trejo? Like there he is. He's in Las Vegas, and he kind of lit it up.
I
Um,
I just love that it was a Nisa All-Star that did it, you know?
mhm, mhm.
Like,
Yes.
like truly very cathartic. There's so much shit. So much shit. And then to lose
Yeah.
to like your like rivalry team
Right.
and it's a Nisa All-Star who like nailed the coffin shut. Oh, love it. Absolutely
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's good stuff.
So yeah, you want to talk a little bit more about this, right?
About I don't quite understand what happened at the end of the match. Like the Las Vegas, was it the Las Vegas people who just like shut the lights out, like, 15 seconds after the final whistle?
Yeah, because they immediately did fireworks, if I recall correctly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but no, you're like they're just like like the
Yeah,
final whistle, like the players were walking off the pitch and the lights shut, and then they had like a firework
right. I'm
show.
picturing like a sideline reporter, like, Coach, we just want to get your thoughts about the, like,
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. So no, yeah, just a shit show. I think I might like Las Vegas. It's a little comforting, even.
I mean, yeah, we like they
Just
they're keeping the party. It's you don't.
the flavor.
Yeah. I know that there are people who talk about that stuff as like minor league baseball stuff, but I see it more as like grassroots football stuff from Mexico, and from South America. It's
Yeah.
not it's not, you know, it's not corny, it's multicultural, man. you know, open your heart.
It is. It's wonderful.
Um,
I love it.
yeah, so I think it's cool.
Shenanigans.
Yeah, more shenanigans. Like, I mean, look, there's so many teams around this league, and you look around this league, and you see all of this corporate branding, like that. They're hoping they can stand up long enough for people to kind of adopt as their flag or whatever. Um, and at least Las Vegas is doing something. So many of them. There's like that meme of like, you do something and poking it with a stick.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these teams and front offices. Um,
San
for
Antonio.
for a second division club in your second division club, you should be aspirationally trying to put out a first division product, and that doesn't mean be as crappy as an MLS PR team, because a lot of those are terrible too.
Yep.
Like just, I don't know.
Next match.
Orange County 2, Rio Grande Valley 1. I know nothing
Nope.
about this match, except it was won 2-1 by Orange County Soccer Club. And then finally, San Diego 2 over Sacramento 0. Sacramento
great.
continues its
Yeah.
wah,
Yeah.
wah.
That like
Uh,
MLS failure bid really took the wind out of their sails, I feel like.
yeah, I mean, that's it's like you could them and San Antonio have been that bridesmaid scenario.
Yep.
And now they're stranded forever here in the, like, I just feel like just wipe your face off. You're fine. Like like this is gonna be cool. Embrace what you got. Like, Jesus, come on.
No, they were the first ones to do the Garber head cutout. So
Yeah, and and now they hate him as they properly should have all along.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Absolutely.
look, it's cool. You can join us. It's fine.
It's fine. Join.
It's fine.
Just like it'll be like all the USL teams. Welcome to the family.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to get deep into that right now.
No, we're good. Let's go. Let's go. Well, yeah, that's a whole episode.
friendship.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Just, United Friendship League that we're in.
So let's talk last weekend, right?
Okay. Um, I will say that we had a little savings put aside, and Sarah encouraged me the day before the match to go to the outlet mall and get a waterproof winter coat, and I did so, and that is the best money I've spent in a long, long time because that was one miserable match.
Yeah.
Like the weather was fucking
I
horrible.
would say it was the worst city match I've ever attended in terms of conditions.
Yeah, I mean, my hands got my okay. So I got there early and I helped. I was helping put up banners, and my hands were really, it's like, oh my god, my hands are freezing. And I typically don't wear gloves a lot.
Yeah.
I just put my hands in my
Yep.
pockets.
Yep.
Um, and Iluwin was there setting up too, and she's like, I've got gloves here. And they immediate like I set up a bunch of banners and got the gloves completely soaked,
Oh,
so that they really weren't effective at all. And then
did you do the pocket situation?
I did do a little pocket drying, and then I gave them back to Ellie. It's like, sorry.
They got wet.
um but yeah, like my hands were, I felt like I might, like if I got hit hard at the wrist, my hands might snap off. Just
We
uh
did not bring gloves. I grabbed there was like a Tully Dew glove giveaway by the
mm,
back gate from veterans and grabbed one of those, saved my life.
the fingerless
Yeah,
glove
yeah,
giveaway.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my fingertips were cold, but the hands were good. So
Yeah, I mean, just if anybody wasn't there, it was very cold, for a rainy day. It was 40 degrees,
it
and
was windy.
the forecast had consistently said that the rain was going to taper off right around kickoff.
Never,
It did
fucking
not. It
never,
it
ever.
kept raining and kept raining, and the wind was blowing
It
across the pitch.
it
Like,
rained
so
directly
and
into
the
your
supporter
eyes.
side, yeah, you were just like, it was like you were really at that moment, like with glasses on. It looks like you're at that moment where you're about to go into hyperspace and all the stars go like that's what everything looked like the whole match.
Oh
I
yeah,
was
that's
just like,
tough.
like had to standing next to the people around me, like, what just happened? You know, yeah, it was great. I mean, at the same time, it was great.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was great. I was.
I,
Go ahead.
I was absolutely, I really, as we were setting up and the weather was so miserable, and I was like feeling how the cold was soaking into like my knees, and like, oh man, this is gonna suck. And I was amazed at how many people turned out for that
Yeah.
match.
No, I was
Like
expecting like
huge,
three.
huge ups to the, yeah, I was thinking like 3,000. Um, and huge ups to the ticket sales department for turning out a bunch of like families. And also, I mean, one thing I noticed in the big line that formed for
Falling.
Foaling was
Fouling.
Fouling is a lot of what we might call randos, or just kind of like people who look like they're psyched to be here but don't look like they've been to a whole ton of city matches. They're
Yeah.
not like, I mean, they're not wearing, like, they've got a scarf,
Yep.
but they're wearing a regular shirt.
Yep.
Like they don't have a ton of gear. They're not all like, showing up with their in maroon and gold shoes. Uh,
One day. One day.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But exactly. Um, so yeah, the weather was miserable, and it really, rewatching the match, you see the, first of all, rewatching the match, if you just want to, if you want to feel like kind of happy for a second, watch go back and rewatch the broadcast and see how, like, watch our guys' faces right before they kind of come in from warming up. Like, watch how like excited they are to play a home match. Like, they are like, they just look like it's Christmas morning. Like, they're just fucking giddy. It was so, like, I kind of watched that. I was like, oh, I didn't notice that really.
Yeah. 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 That's
Sitting
cool.
in
I
the
didn't catch that
stands.
either on my rewatch. That's really
Yeah,
cool.
it was cool. Um, So yeah, the match itself,
Yeah.
I have to. I'm gonna apologize to my patrons, okay? Because I got one aspect of my preview entirely wrong, and that is that we would need to try to keep the ball in the middle of the park, um, which we just apparently do not do.
No,
I'm
no.
looking at the heat maps like, yeah, I got that one wrong.
Yeah.
Got that so wrong.
So why why do you think that is, Sean? Why do you think we didn't play it through the middle?
Um, I think it's kind of how I now that I look at how we're set up. I think it's because we can create overload. Okay, it looks to me like what we're trying to do um, is possess the ball deeper than we're used to. You know, we're used to when you establish possession, you just creep forward with it until you've got their defense pinned back against their goal, and
Yep.
you're kind of possessing it within their defensive half, your attacking half, and your center backs are at the halfway line maybe, and that's as far back as anyone is. That's the goal, is to get them all pinned. But the problem is you've compressed that space so greatly that the positional demands on them are much simpler.
Yeah.
They're not covering much space front to back. Really, they can kind of pinch their lines together and make it really tough. And so I think what we're trying to do to kind of take some pressure off of the fact that we don't have like you know, um, a breathtaking goal
A
scorer
number 10.
who's going to just like create shots like crazy inside the area, is to create chances that are sort of like mimicking the kind of chances you get. That's my cat. Hi, Sophie. Everybody, the kind of chances you get in transition,
Got it. Okay.
um, out of possession.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
So
we talked about this on our call yesterday, right?
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. So how like what's a good example of that for someone who may not see that?
Um, well, like okay, so uh, I mean, I wrote today in the player ratings about like how our system is because of the 3-4-3 allows us a lot of flexibility, for players to kind of do something different they want to do to break the pattern. Um, so like typically it seems like the way we try to keep the ball, honey, settle down. Um, the way we try to keep the ball is we tend to kind of keep it to the left,
Yep.
um, and Devin almost steps into like a defensive midfield position. Like he kind of steps forward ahead of the defensive line, with Declan then playing,
Higher up.
well ahead of
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
him.
yeah.
And then you've got either Maxi or Brad, whoever happens to be on that
For the
side,
outlet.
as the third part of the
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
triangle.
yeah.
And then if we really get pinched, then Antoine kind of comes in.
Yep.
Um,
As a
and
secondary outlet too.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
um, and so I think that what we've got is, and the other thing we talked about, like, okay, so on the right, sometimes we'll notice Matt goes forward. When Matt goes forward, he doesn't like go into like and be a big tall midfielder. He'll kind of wander all the way forward into the attack,
Yeah.
and let
Kind of
Devin
float around
and
the top of the box, right?
yeah, and like just kind of because we don't really have massive target men.
Nope.
Um, so uh, thanks to Sarah for taking care of Sophie. Uh, we don't really have massive target men, but we can temporarily, if we kind of just shift into a 4 and let Matt wander forward for one possession.
And
And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that kind of so looking at any 30-second segment of the way we play, you can get pretty misled. You could think, oh God, we're always look at Devin's always playing forward. Well, not always. We've got a lot of flexibility built into it, which allows our players to solve the problems in the field
yeah.
on the fly.
So
Um,
that's crazy levels of preparation to be able to recognize when the game plan needs to change and have a counter to it given what is going on in whatever course of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of that is just the guys being experienced and being experienced within the system. I mean, Maxi, this is like a lot of guys in this roster are playing exactly the same position they played last year in exactly the same system.
Yeah.
Stevie
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
same,
yeah.
Matt the same, Maxi the same, Pato the same. Um, so they know exactly what they're supposed to be doing, and they can, I do see that kind of Matt Stevie Maxey kind of seem to do a lot of like the powwowing
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah,
we need to change this or we need to talk about this. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I think it's because they're the guys who've played in this system and controlled games in this system.
Understand how it
Um,
works. Yeah.
I think the overwhelming thing I heard coming from USL non-aligned USL people watching the match was like, "Wow, Detroit City really just shut them down." Like,
Mhm.
we got a one goal lead, and I mean, there was that kind of chance in stoppage time where we kind of fucked up
Yeah,
and let a
yeah,
dude
yeah, yeah.
in.
93rd
Um,
minute or whatever.
93rd minute, and Nate came up huge, as he has
Time and time again.
always,
Yep.
right? Um, but
Death
besides
Texas
that,
Nate Steinmeier.
I mean, it really wasn't. it- you know, you wouldn't get the impression that one of these teams was a second division team last year, and one of them, and the host was not. Like we got on top, and then we snuffed that match out. Like
Yeah.
we just kind of were like, all right, you know what, you're gonna have a fucking hard time now because we got a one goal lead. We're at home. Like they're really good at keeping the ball. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I, we looked good.
We did look good. Um, One thing that concerns me too, kind of about our match, and I, between friends of ours, we have a group chat, and it's just like we were kind of threw out predictions for scores, and I
Mm,
was really hoping for at least 2 goals. I predicted 2-0 us, um, before the match, and um, yeah, I'm a little like because Charleston didn't look good, and they were on a downward trend and trying to rebuild, right?
right.
Um, so I'm a little bit worried about our ability to score.
Yeah. I mean, that is, that's the question we have right now. The system, like when I look at the guys we've got, you know, Pato is a deep lying, forward. He's a guy who he's like Bobby Firmino.
Yep.
Okay, he's like he plays with his back to goal. He's incredibly good at it. But he's not going to be a guy who scores 15 goals in his league. Um, you know,
Yeah,
he might get it's more like a 5 goal, 7, 8 assist
but
kind of
has a
guy.
role to play in the
Has a
build up.
role to
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
right? And like and does things in the buildup that allow like part of the fact that we were so secure once we got the lead is that he provides an outlet that really helps make us press
yep.
proof. And you know um, if we decide to if he gets dropped in favor of an out and out goal scorer, um,
It's gonna
they'll say
affect things. Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
try to play Francis and Billy together. um, I think that we'll miss that.
yeah,
It'll be
yeah, yeah.
noticeable.
It'll be just
um,
totally different, and the
right,
system
right. I mean,
gets changed.
it's really down to um, I don't think we're going to score a tremendous number of goals this season. I don't think that we have a roster deep we don't have one guy who's going to obviously score 20 goals, and we don't have a deep roster of guys who are going to score 8 goals.
It's gonna be a team effort.
So we got Billy and we got Francis is kind of dinged up, and Billy has looked just all right. Um,
Yeah.
Ordinarily you'd think, okay, well, Antoine obviously is going to be important, but
Yep.
he's playing in a dual role where he's not an out and out goal scorer,
Yep.
and the way the midfield is set up, you don't see, it's not like we're going to have Maxi running into the box, every possession. That's not the way the midfield's set up.
No.
Like they're keeping the powder dry right now.
Yeah, yeah. Maxi's playing real deep in our own end and working it forward when he needs to.
Right, and Brad's an amazing linking player, but
Yeah.
he's a linking player. He doesn't want to. He's not going to get up there and you know,
Yeah.
take 3 shots from 25 yards every match to keep things honest. Like that's just not what he does.
Yeah. Did you want to
Um,
talk about how, because you mentioned this in your piece and we talked about it on the phone a bit yesterday too, about Brad's game and how the conditions affected it.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that everyone, there's this idea that if the weather's bad, like it's bad for everyone. But I mean, some people's game, the things some people do, are perfectly adaptable to a sloppy, windy day. A big strong guy can still fight for a ball in the air
Yeah.
on a windy, sloppy day. But a technician like Brad, a guy whose his game is all like subtle touches and little and spin on the ball and like being able to turn quickly and make things happen. The other thing is he tends to want to. He's a settler. The ball
Yep.
that we're bouncing it around and people are kind of like we're kind of golfing it along to the next guy. It's still bouncing. It comes to Brad. He gets it on the deck. Unfortunately, last Saturday when you got it on the deck, it was like you're just like you just put it in a 6-inch deep sponge. So I mean, those are probably the worst passing stats of his career. Like it was like 64%
He was getting beat the
passing,
fuck up too. Like
and yeah,
out of everyone, I
yeah.
think he drew the most fouls, and the fouls that I saw him draw were kind of violent, if I'm being
Right.
honest.
Well, I think that like it's kind of like with Brad, because he clearly is. It's the Bakey
It's
problem
the
again.
bait,
Like he
yeah.
clearly is so important to the way that our possession ticks over, and if you let him just kind of get in his groove, like we will just keep the ball. Like and you're gonna get tired and frustrated, and he's just gonna keep like every like completing 19 out of every 20 passes and just like smoothing everything out. So he gets targeted a lot. Plus the way he plays, where he's like his body position means that you can kind of like it's not hard to come at him from behind a lot of times.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
He's returning the ball and he's like catching the ball in the half turn, so that guy who's checking him is just right. It's just real easy right there just to kind of like foul him, you know. And it's not the kind of foul that's going to be anything more than a foul, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You just dumped him. Like like that, I mean that sounds crazy, but I mean that's part of the game. If you
I mean,
kind of come up and like that moment where you're like kind of challenging for the ball and like you kind of get it, so the ref's like, yeah, okay, all right, that was
I mean,
fair.
to be honest, I watched him get punched in the face twice
Yeah, but I mean I
on the
thought
way down. Like, dude just like went
yeah,
down. I'm like, holy shit,
the
this league
well,
hits
I mean
different.
that very like the very first like bad foul of the match was, I mean, it was early on Brad. Where he like we had been it was in that early like the first 5 minutes of the match where we were really struggling to like just complete a pass. They were all over us.
Yeah,
And Brad finally like got the ball and like turned like, whew, okay, he's gonna pass it back to Stevie. We're good. And then like, what's his ass, number 17, I can't remember his name. Like just like ran him down from behind. Like, wow, okay. I mean, I think he got yellow carded for it, but um, the officiating in this league, I really, really looked forward to having it be slightly more consistent. But um,
they
and I understand
they weren't calling anything.
that, man, oh man, like rewatching that match, it was rough, and you could kind of see our guys. In the first like 5-10 minutes, there were lots of conversations where they're like, "Look, this is just how it is. Like, we can't get started bitching.
Yep.
Like that just leads nowhere good.
Nope.
Let's keep going." Um, and they did, but I really was hoping that the officials would protect our players a little more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And who knows? It might be inconsistent game to game. Like, I'm
Right.
sure there
Right.
will be refs.
We'll probably have somebody out here this weekend who's like red carding somebody 12 minutes in, like
Yeah.
Nope. Uh, so.
Um. Yeah. I mean, any other last thoughts on the match? That
No, I was encouraged to see that both the hurt guys got some minutes. I really was convinced we weren't going to see Francis at all,
mhm.
based on what I saw Thursday. But it wasn't like he was out there like you know guns
Yeah.
blazing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
looked like he was being a little cautious
Yep.
in the cold, but that makes sense. Connor looked Looked good. I mean, he looks a little
No,
like he's not Matt Sharp.
yep.
Um, but it's just good to see him run around and not seem like he's hurting. So,
Yeah.
so
Get some
that was
minutes.
good. Right. It's a long season. We're going to need everybody to to do their thing. So, um, yeah, I'm looking forward to that's another potential. That's something we didn't talk about when we talked about goal scorers. We didn't talk about Connor,
Nope.
and he's the total dark horse. But it would be very in keeping with what we've seen so far this season, which is that the NISA All Stars have been the guys who really are balling out. I mean, talking about like Devin and
Yep.
Reese. Um,
Yep.
uh, like I mean,
Connor.
so it would be
Connor's on
very
that
like
list.
yeah, Connor yeah, exactly. Like I could really see Connor, coming in and just scoring a bunch of goals and people going, what the fuck, Connor Rutz, American hero, the kid from
The local
Commerce.
guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, did you want to talk before we go to a break? We also have listed man of the match. Um,
Hmm.
how did you feel? And actually, you and I are on the same page about this. So go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I said in my piece that I feel like Devin was the man of the match. Although this was a match where you had plenty of people like in the running. And Maxi. I feel like every time
Yeah.
we play well, Maxi is at the heart of it.
Yep. That goal
Um,
doesn't happen without Maxi.
right,
I mean,
right.
it's very
Yeah,
much his.
and Devin and Declan really could like we left side of the field for us was just like we just dominated the ball there, and those two are incredibly technical for defenders, and the ability to just kind of keep the ball against the pressure they were bringing. They'd bring three guys, four guys. They just kind of keep piling guys in there.
Yep. The cram jam.
Um, it was pretty impressive. But I think Devin is right now like has been the kind of the wow guy so far.
He's been
Um,
my standout. Him and Reese have been my standouts.
right. I mean, Reese, like, it's like I kind of knew like, it's like each of the individual aspects of Reese's game. I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, none of that surprises me. Like, 2-footed, good athlete, all that. But, like, the extent of it
Yeah.
surprised me. The fact, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's one thing to be 2-footed and be able to like do shuffle moves and dribble with your left foot, but it's another thing to be like like alternately, I could just be Arjen Robben and just go on your left foot and like, he's created shots for himself over and over again
Yep.
by just
Doing what he
switching
does.
feet.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, it's I mean, it's really effective. He's going to get a couple goals this season off of that. Um,
Definitely.
so yeah,
And
I mean,
create stuff.
yeah,
And like honestly,
breaks a pattern.
one thing I noticed too between our three midfielders, is that they all have like a shit ton of cross. Or no, not. I don't know if it was all midfielders, but um, like we're leading the East in crosses, but not obviously finishing them, and a lot of them are just so close. Like we're just missing that.
Yeah,
It's 5 yards too far, wide,
yeah,
or too low, or yeah. I mean, it's like we're very close to being able to score a lot. It's just getting it all worked out and in position. Um,
yeah. I just remembered I wanted to talk about the set piece stuff,
yeah,
but I think we need
we
to
do,
like
we do. We need to go.
let's get Jamie
Yep.
on, and then we can
Well, that's
do set pieces
yeah,
while we're
no
yeah
problem. We'll be
yeah.
back in a few. Stay tuned. Oh my god, I think all three of us are here. I can
I'm
hear
gonna freeze. Like,
Jam. Welcome.
I am
Hell
here.
yeah.
Hello.
Audio's working too. Amazing. Amazing
what?
evening.
I was trying to freeze.
No, we're good.
Okay.
Welcome.
Okay.
Good job.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, Jamie, everybody.
What's how's it going?
I'm here.
How's it going?
It's going. We're chilling. I'm recovering from Saturday. All is
Yeah,
well.
did you dry out?
Um, Everything but my lungs and my sinuses is dry now.
Oh,
Yeah.
it like as I was leaving the match. I was texting Sarah, and it's like I had started a text, and so it would let me keep texting, but it like my fingers were too cold for it to register that like I wanted to send the text.
Like
So
you-
like it turned into this like long text because I just kept going, well, I guess I can't send this. And like after about 10 minutes in the car with my hand up against the heater, I was able to like boop, like it went through, like yes.
Your phone thought you were dead, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. And my phone's like, man, I don't do this undeath thing, man. It's like, no. It was just shutting me out.
Just shut. It's like, nope, not today. Not sending that text. So, chat's already noticing your sign. What does your sign say, Jamie?
For those who cannot read, it says Crap Weasel Vinny Bell because fuck that guy.
Vinny Bell.
Vinny fucking Bell.
Vinny,
This mother.
fucking the dinosaur of Cleveland.
Yeah.
He had himself
Still rampaging.
Still, yeah, still ending hopes and dreams everywhere. God, dude, fuck that guy. No, so last night, right? Vinny Bell, Cleveland and Chicago FC Open Cup match. Vinny Bell scored a very late extra time goal for the win.
Dude.
For Cleveland, and listen, I'm actually scared. if there's a chance that we play Cleveland, I think they'll beat us. I'm still hurting.
Well, I think there's so few of the people who bear the scars of that Cleveland loss still on the roster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like, we'll go into it kind of innocent.
So So Jam, why Crap Weasel Vinny Bell?
Why did this even start? You retweeted my fucking tweet. Like, I don't remember why.
I was just looking at Vinny Bell on Twitter over the years, and I found your tweet about him, and I just retweeted it because it made me laugh.
How long ago was that tweet from?
God, it existed.
It was from
Like 2019.
Yeah.
Well, probably when we lost to them in the.
I think it was
final.
the Legends Cup. I think it was when we did the 2020 Legends Cup with them.
That was the double header day, right?
Yeah.
2019. Oh.
So we're here to not talk about Cleveland or Vinny Bell.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. We're here to talk about this weekend, right?
Yay.
Yeah.
Dryer?
Hey, we're playing Pittsburgh. Okay, so what do you know about River Hounds? What's that about? Do you know?
Like what it means?
Yeah, like River Hounds. This is like sounds like someone's half-assed D&D monster.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. They spell it with an S and not a Z, so like it's got to be legit, right?
Okay, right. Yeah.
What was that was the MPSL team, right?
I believe so.
Was it River Dogs?
River Dogs. Oh my god. Or that. Yeah.
But they've been around forever. They're actually one of the oldest teams in the league.
Yeah, they've been around for a while.
That's cool.
They're an old A-League team, right? Like from the 90s.
Yeah, come up from all kinds of stuff. They used to, and I don't know if they're still doing it. I've forgotten about this, but they used to do an actual started and supporter run cup that they called the Old Guard Shield.
That's cool.
Oh shit.
I think 2020 or last year might have been the last year they did it, and it was totally supporter started. Pittsburgh, Charleston, Harrisburg, Richmond, and Rochester.
Wow.
Okay.
They're the teams that at the time they started the cup were in USL the longest together.
Okay.
Obviously, some of those teams have not done things or moved into other leagues.
Yeah.
Right.
Whole website for it, so I haven't seen anything that they're doing it this year, but it's kind of just a points thing. But it was all started by supporters. They have like a plaque that they made with all
Right.
the old logos and shit on it. It's
That's super cool.
actually
Yeah, I'm looking at the website right now. And yeah, so there's 5 SGs involved, and so it's the Regiment, River City Red Army, Flower City Stampede, Steel Army, and Capital City Crew all had this. Yeah, 2017 they had a huge year.
So is Capital City Crew, is that Richmond? Who's Capital City Crew?
Harrisburg City
it's-
Islanders,
Oh. Okay.
which they
Capital
don't
City.
exist anymore.
Right.
they do not exist anymore.
Yeah. They were like they were literally on an island. Like I
Sure,
think-
League 1 or 2, right?
yeah.
So
Oh.
that's cool. Who are all of like? So do they have more than one SG? What's their story supporter wise?
So as far as I'm aware, the Steel Army is the SG.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's right.
Off-brand for me, I don't hate them.
What? No way.
I didn't know if you were going to own up the fact that you're a little bit of a Pittsburgh slappy in here.
This is legit, like, probably the only time I'll ever just have mostly good things to say. Got history. They've been around as an SG since 2007.
Wow.
So that's legit.
Yeah, that's great.
Honestly, well, I was kind of talking to Dion about it earlier. As far as supporters groups in this league go, this SG and kind of not everything they do, but they're kind of like NGS, but smaller numbers. They're super active on social media. They're actually kind of funny.
Wow.
They get media coverage in town.
Yeah.
Like you can actually Google the Steel Army and like multiple news articles and interviews come up.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Having an
One of their
impact.
founders, yeah, like one of their founders is a woman, so that's pretty fucking cool. And they have a lot of women supporters.
That's awesome.
Compared to some of the other groups I've seen or been with. Kind of the standard charity work stuff. They do participate in Pride Raiser. So
That's cool. Yep.
fuck yeah.
Do we have any idea how many are traveling this weekend? Are we likely to see?
People talk to, like, without actually seeing. I mean, because everything we do is general admission, like we can't really tell from ticket sales, but
Right.
from talking to the people I know out there, I would guess we're going to get at least 20, probably more, like 30, potentially more people this weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
And there will be some
So this is-
local fans too, right? With the homecoming.
Yes.
Right. Well, this is where like the lack of like a tailgating kind of setup hurts us a little bit, I think.
Kind of sucks. And these guys do a fucking tailgate at their
Right.
games. Like,
And I mean,
normally
like,
would-
I think we could probably turn out a badass tailgate if we were allowed to set one
Oh,
up
yeah.
somewhere.
And these guys do a great one. Honestly, like, this is the one I would say when people are traveling to Pittsburgh, I would encourage you to actually go to their tailgate.
Like, show up. The food is
They
good.
start tailgating in their parking lot like 3 fucking hours before the game. It's Pittsburgh. They tailgate. It's
That's
what they do.
tailgating.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Like an hour before the game. Like, what are you talking about? That's not. You're in the stands at that point. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Tailgating
Like-
is showing up at like 10 a.m. and just like I've got some ribs working.
that's what they do. Maria's Jello shots are fabulous. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Man, you're plugging Jello shots on this. Oh man.
I
I just
mean,
want everybody to have a good time.
yeah, like yeah. So, what I want to know is which supporters groups regularly have psilocybin available. That's a joke. That's jokes.
Cannot confirm or deny that.
So what can you tell us, Jam, about a little bit of their history in like the league? Are they generally a good team? Are they like where do they stand historically?
It's kind of up and down there. From everything I've seen so far, like they're looking good this year.
Okay.
They definitely have their off years.
Don't we all?
I don't fully won it.
They never won
I
the
don't
thing?
think they have. Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think they've ever won the thing.
Okay.
They've come really close a lot. Like they generally make playoffs. Solid team. Like they're never the worst, but they never quite make it to the best. I haven't been out there in a while, honestly. I think the last time I went out there was when Bakey was playing for them.
Yeah, I remember you going out when Bakey was playing for Pittsburgh.
What about their stadium? That's like kind of a cool spot, right?
Oh, it's cool. Yeah.
It's one of the best stadiums in the league, in my opinion.
Yep, it's cool.
It's really small. I think their capacity is only like it's under 5,000. I'm pretty
wow.
sure.
I didn't know it was that small. Okay, wow.
I thought it was about I think it's like 4,800. Like
stands on one side.
That's really cool. And then I noticed that the supporters were, I think, behind the goal, right?
Yeah, they're behind the goal. And they're behind the goal supporter section is, I would compare it to how close we are on the sidelines in Keyworth. Like they're right fucking there.
That's super cool. That's awesome.
It's a super small, intimate stadium. They've got trains that go by. You can see all the bridges and the river and all of that stuff.
Yeah, they kind of we're the two teams in the league with trains happening during the match now.
That's really cool. And they actually, so they get some really good local coverage. The team itself does too. I retweeted an article from Pittsburgh Soccer Now. Did a look at us, and I felt did like a really excellent job. The best I've ever seen an opposing team do about us.
Right. A lot of times you read those scouting reports and you're like, okay. I mean, I hope this is like coming from their coaching staff, because if so, like they're fucked, you know.
I just read that one before we jumped on. Like it was actually really good.
Yeah. They did their research, and they also mentioned. I mean, they like mentioned some of their players and their historical ties to Detroit. They mentioned the ownership. They mentioned the environment. The guy who wrote the piece or was interviewed in the piece had been to Keyworth before, and I forgot why. I don't remember why. But yeah, like he did like a YouTube video of like the Keyworth experience. So the guy who was like interviewed in the piece had a pretty intimate understanding of it, and there's a great quote, and it said, I'm kind of, and it's talking about supporters and NGS and all of that, and it said, I'm kind of horrified by them because they have an obnoxious fan base, but I really like that they bring a lot of sauce to the league, and I really enjoy it. And I think,
Fair.
that's
fair enough.
You know, there's been worse said about us.
Right. It's like, it's a fair cop.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's talk on the pitch, like what that looks like.
I mean, they are, as we began tonight's show, they were atop the league. I mean, obviously we're 2 matches in. However, Louisville City is playing their 3rd match of the season. So,
and I believe they're winning. They were winning 1-0 last I saw.
Yeah. So, you know, once that final whistle blows, Pittsburgh will no longer be first in the league, and it won't be like us. It won't be a table-topping matchup. But you know, I don't know how much we can draw from what we've seen of them in the opening 2 matches, because they've won both matches and they've kept the ball a whole lot, but they've also been up a man basically 50% of the season so far.
Yeah. Wow.
They had in the opening match, the opposition got a red card early in the second half. In the second match, they got a second yellow in like the 40th minute. So they played very little 11v11 football. And when you look at their passing numbers, it's like, holy, oh man.
Yeah, really
I can't really, they don't give you fine enough tools to say, okay, like from the moment the red card happened, what does it look like? But it looks very much like a lot of those passing stats were piled up, just sort of emptily passing the ball with a man advantage and a goal advantage in 2 consecutive games. Having said that, they play like a system very similar to ours in some ways. The basic formation is the same. It's a kind of a 3-4-1-2, and they've got guys that on their day could cause us problem. Dane Kelly is one of their strikers. He's a Jamaican dude who's quick.
Yeah, he looked good in their last match, I will say.
Yeah, he's quick, and he when he gets a look at goal, he lets it rip. So um, you don't want to get into a situation where you're hoping he blows it.
They're kind of known for like when they get scoring opportunities, they get them, like they score them.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that pops out on their numbers is that they've got 5 goals on 8 shots on goal.
Wow.
So that could mean that they're getting great chances and they're placing them. Could mean that luck has just been on their side so far. Could mean they faced some really shitty goalkeeping. Any of those things could be a factor. All of them could be a factor in different ways.
It's tough to say. Yeah.
Football's multivalent. It's difficult.
Tough to say this early.
Yeah.
So when are we going back over there and as on the away? Is that
is a good question. I was hoping Jamie knew that.
Yeah.
It's like the first weekend in June, I believe,
okay,
or the second.
So it'll be warm.
Yes.
And I think when we were talking earlier, you said that. What did you say about this away day? Like it's one that like you should do, right?
Yeah. I mean, being the person that does the USL things prior to this season, Pittsburgh's a great fucking away day. It's a decent drive.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can drive there.
It's drivable for an up and back. I did an up and back for a Wednesday night Open Cup match there once, which was fucking
like 7 hours. Is it something like that?
Yeah, roughly close to 8. It was the one we were supposed to play
after.
Yeah.
Was it Bucks?
No, it was the one where had we beat Cincinnati, we would have gone to Pittsburgh.
Oh shit, that's right.
For the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh match. But it's drivable. The drive's not bad. Their stadium, the stadium is fucking gorgeous. Like everyone, it's like Keyworth. Everyone should see a match at this stadium. Like it's super small. It's super intimate. Last I checked, obviously, because their supporters sit at the end of the goal, you're not right next to them, but they generally put you on the closest corner.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Right. And so like you can actually yell back and forth at each other.
That's actually
maybe not their best decision.
No, I love it. It's a great idea.
It's a great idea. They used to do dollar beers prior to kickoff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No, it sounds recipe for awesome.
And it's our closest one out for the men's team. So go.
What's the ownership situation there? Do we know? Are they like privately held?
I believe they are. I know their stadium was privately financed.
Okay.
They're not public money. I think they've still got the same ownership they've had for years, and I can't remember
pulling it up
what that guy is.
Tully Schallenberger.
The things you're describing seem to me to be you're describing an organization that's been pretty consistently like fan focused and
Yeah, they just knock out Chick-fil-A as a sponsor there.
Yeah,
they were the ones who just did it. Like they listen to their supporters. Their supporters seem to have kind of a similar relationship like we do with our front office. Like it's generally respectful. They do listen. They generally, are cool.
Right.
Their supporters are independent. Like they do what they want. They will make their voices heard. And it seems like from what I've seen over the years, they do actually have ownership that gives a shit about them.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Well, awesome. So I hope that they all get to experience new levels of togetherness after we just beat their asses mercilessly this weekend. They just like lean on each other for support in these difficult and trying times.
I mean, they'll probably like watch Mr. Rogers or whatever they fucking do.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Fred Rogers, man.
No, big fan. Um, the owner is a guy by the name of Tuffy Schallenberger. Owns a construction company, small town outside
Sweet.
of.
Tuffy?
Yeah.
Tuffy. That is awesome.
He's took over the family business, did really well. Yeah.
I'm remembering those like terrible muffler ads from for the 90s. Like, that's a toughie. Like, yeah.
This is like a weird King of the Hill, I guess, tie-in, but I guess
Okay.
The success of their construction business is directly tied into the bountiful natural gas reserves around Pennsylvania.
Oh wow. So is he like a fracking lord? Is that what we're
I'm
getting out of this?
not
I mean,
really
Pennsylvania,
sure.
like, there's a reason that the oil company is called Quaker State, and Pennzoil. Pennsylvania was Saudi Arabia the first
Yeah.
50 years of the 20th century. I lived there for a while.
Okay,
I was a journalist. Lived in Franklin, Pennsylvania. Worked in Oil City, Pennsylvania. One of our papers was the Derrick. I mean, okay.
I had no idea there was so much energy culture in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it was weird. Like I didn't really know either. I got headhunted in, and the day I arrived, there were black balloons tied to every
Oh my god.
every pole in town, and it's like, what's going on? Like, oh,
Who
today
died?
the Quaker State, the Quaker State died.
Oh shit.
The Quaker State. It was the Quaker State office. It was their last day. They were all their jobs were getting shipped to Texas.
Oh my god.
That was the day
totally made
I
a joke,
moved
and that's horrible.
to Oil City. No, it was like, wait, well, what's going on? They're like, oh, you don't know?
This town is
Yeah.
about to die.
Like, listen, I was a sports writer, okay? I don't know stuff.
Oh my god. That's crazy. So I guess apparently in reading this article about this guy's like natural gas energy empire, and I didn't know this, but they wanted to join MLS when they first started.
Yes.
Oh, wow, yeah.
But like, ain't nobody joining MLS with a fucking. I think they started in a high school stadium.
Yeah.
They apparently in 2013 they said that they wanted to join MLS in 2023, so they got a year.
Fingers crossed. Wow.
That's about all I know about them. Is their guy's a natural gas construction tycoon, loves soccer, and MLS next year.
I don't. Okay, so I gotta say, this is something that I was thinking about today when I was driving, and it really bugs me. Why, when MLS started a second tier of completely owned development, whatever, why didn't they call that minor league soccer? Because that's what it fucking is.
That's like a good,
I mean, it's just sitting there.
a good bong rip question. Like why didn't they name it minor league soccer?
I mean, you know what we need to do? Us, Major League Soccer, we need to conceive of a completely owned minor league, just like the minor leagues in baseball. That'll be outstanding. What do we call it? Next. What? Sure. Like the first person to respond, I guess. Like that guy who timidly said next. Like, whoop, that's it. We're done. Charlie said next. We're moving
Sounds
on.
great. The Zoomers will love it.
I don't know. God damn it.
I mean, that's what happened, right? Calling it minor league soccer would have been like too nuanced and too like clever. No one would have got it, you know.
I mean, like, I don't know. I just MLS, call me. I got lots of ideas, and I'm relatively. I mean, on MLS scale, like, if you just want to pay me like on the MLS executive scale, you can just like, 150K or whatever, and I'll just cough up ideas like this like twice a day. Like, you can have 700 ideas for 150K.
Sold.
Jam,
Yeah.
was there anything else you wanted to talk about Pittsburgh-wise? Pittsburgh.
Um, I'm really just wondering if the morph suit guy is going to show up.
Green Man?
You know, you've seen
Sorry, I'm just Green Man.
that wears a fucking morph suit, and it's weird.
It's Green Man. That's awesome.
Interesting.
It's creepy.
Is it like Kevin the Tree, but a dude in a suit?
But like, yeah.
His name, oh, what is his name? I think his name's Jesse. I've met him.
I only want to know him as Green Man.
So
Call
he
him
just
whatever.
rolls in like sniper gear, like
No.
He like is in the supporters section in like a full-on morph suit.
Do you know what a morph suit is, Sean?
yeah. I
It's
think
like
so.
no, it's like a full like spandex.
Oh! I'm thinking of like the
ghillie
ghillie
suit,
suit or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
No, like
Yeah, I'm picturing
like,
this dude like, yeah, that's not good camouflage in the bleachers, bro.
Like your hands and everything
Oh,
fully encased in spandex.
okay. I could do that, but I would need to put something like a glowing bulb on my crotch just to keep the mystery alive. know.
So that's like so I don't know this person, this Jesse figure. Is it a reference to Always Sunny?
I don't know.
Is it all green?
Fucking thought about that. I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe he's just a weird dude.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
I never thought to ask because I was just trying not to
Ask too many questions.
Yeah, like.
So does he? Have you talked to this person in full morph suit?
Oh yeah.
And he just
Like-
stands there like fully blank.
This man bought me beers while wearing a morph suit.
Dude,
Wow.
wow. That's fucking. That'd be too much.
Wow.
That'd be too much for me. I don't know
Yeah.
if I could do that.
I think I went to a party in Brooklyn like that
Lookout.
once.
I don't know if he's traveling, but be on the lookout for a fucking morph suit guy.
Yeah.
Morph
If you
suit
see
guy.
morph suit guy, buy him a beer. Is what that means.
Might be a little cold for morph suit guy.
How do you drink a beer through the morph suit?
It absorbs through you. Just pour it in it.
Yeah, you just let it happen. Just let it happen.
That's so funny.
I'm getting some of it.
I love that tidbit. That's like a great Pittsburgh tidbit.
Like, I know really strange thing. I've been in the fucking section. Papa Jordan caught me on TV in the section once and tweeted at me. It was like, "What are you doing there?"
Yeah. You're like, what the fuck, Jamie?
Chat in the chat said, "Where does he keep his wallet?"
Yeah.
I think it's, you know what? We're not going there.
Yeah.
I don't want to think
Oh
I
man.
mean, you-
Clinched. Wherever it is, it's clinched.
prison wallet.
So you want to get to a couple questions really quick, and then
Sure.
close out the episode. We had 2.5 ish.
Let me just check to make sure the money came through for my.
What?
I'm just I'm pretending like I'm getting paid to do this.
Yeah. No, sorry, we're over by 15. The contract
Yeah.
only said 1
Listen.
hour.
Can we have a 5-minute pause? You need to talk to my agent real quick. I don't have an agent. Anyone's listening.
Adam, I should have done this question when you first came on, Jam. Adam asked, "Will Trevor finally come around to signing Vinny Bell?" And
Oh,
to be honest, like we could really use him.
I don't think he really fits the profile. He's like 37.
Sign Vinny Bell. I'm making a fucking crap weasel tifo.
No, we would never sign Vinny Bell. But like we do need like a guy who just miraculously always scores a goal,
If we ever
Preferably-
wind up getting Josiah Trimmingham sorted,
Yeah.
we've got a Vinny Bell size dude.
Yeah.
Is he still chilling in town?
I haven't. I'm going to practice tomorrow, so I don't really know yet. He was like fully in practice last week, and like as both a center back and a forward. So
Weird.
He's a
interesting.
large man.
He is large, and he's large. He has good feet. Like I liked what I saw. Like,
Same.
It's
High five.
it's like an acceptable Vinny Bell replacement, is what you're saying.
Right, I'm saying that if if we need a truly massive dude, that we can get one who's not, pushing 40.
I don't care, man. He's taking that Cleveland team all the way. It's
Yeah,
calling it
I mean,
now.
we cannot sign anyone older than Dwayne. Okay, that's a rule.
And then second question, two people asked it, um, and none of us, I don't think, will know the answer to this. But do you know if it's possible for DCFC to request starting the season with a few consecutive road games next year? Last weekend's weather was awful,
Yeah,
absolutely terrible, fucking the worst. But not uncommon for mid-March in Michigan. I'd be
right.
very happy not to do it again every season. That was Bill Emerson and Shaggy Marlin said
I mean,
same. The
It's
right,
yeah.
possible if fucking cried enough.
right.
I know back in the day when I was in Phoenix and we were still playing in baseball stadiums, that our schedule was away game heavy at the very beginning of the season because spring training was still happening.
Right.
Okay.
That's yeah. I think there's a lot of availability issues. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I mean, if they look at the weather this year,
Yeah. We may have lost her. What happened?
Uh-oh. We did lose her.
Oh, here she comes. Hey.
sorry, I had another call coming in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wow. What's that like?
Like a
racist.
like a Skype call?
What?
Was it like a Skype call? What?
Yeah,
You're big on
Yeah.
Skype?
his uncle was trying to
Yeah.
call me on Skype, so he quit.
Okay.
Whatever. But yeah, I know they used to do like Phoenix would do heavy away at the beginning because of the stadium
Mm.
situation. So it's possible that if they notice that the weather situation is like a legit issue, it is something they could take into account.
Okay.
I mean, I
Yeah, what were you
know
gonna
that
say, Sean?
there's feedback mechanisms within the league to talk about the schedule, and I'm sure that, I mean, I think we're probably gonna suffer again this week. It's gonna be, colder than it was, just hopefully drier.
Yep.
Um, and I do think that, that'll be a factor in going forward.
Yeah.
Now I because we control our stadium and can play whenever USL needs us to, really, then we do have a different situation than a lot of these teams where it's a multi-tenant deal and you're maybe the second or even third tenant.
That's what I wanted to touch on
Um,
is just the impossibility of putting together a schedule like this and
right,
getting everything to align and
right.
meeting every team's availability needs. Like,
So I mean, what I would suggest is that what we need to do as supporters is embrace it and just be like, you know what, we're the hardest motherfuckers in this league anyway, and you're gonna have to, like, this is part of getting your game face on, is coming to Detroit and just knowing that the weather is also going to take a shit on you, and you're gonna have to adjust and figure out a way to play football, and if you can't, we'll see you next time.
yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah, no, and I totally agree. Embrace it, make it our own. I mean, that's what we always do about everything, right? Is whatever it is, it's just like, oh, well, fuck yeah, we're gonna be the best at it. So that's. Mackie said it never rains in Vinny Bell's world.
he just doesn't notice.
It doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
No, actually, before we go, Jam, I did want to bring up the Las Vegas Phoenix game again. Since,
Oh, right. I
Since
do want to.
since you do have feelings for Phoenix and it's still there, we know.
Yeah. Danny Trejo did your boys.
Yeah. Well, that was some shit. But man, here's the thing is like, yes, it's my home team. Like, I will always pay attention, whatever. But like, fuck 95% of the Phoenix fans. Like, they fucking cried in their cinnamon toast crunch the next morning.
Oh, dude, they were so great. It was so great.
If anyone is watching, other than like the 10 of you I am actual real life friends with, like, everybody else in Phoenix can get fucked. They are like more obnoxious on the fucking internet than NGS is, and like not in a fun way.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
man.
was, yeah. I mean, that was kind of the what I gleaned in this run up to this, is that, like, like they try to kind of adopt the hardness, but they don't have any. It's not clever. It's just like,
Oh, you just.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That is perfect.
I can't with the fans. Like, I never thought those would be the USL fans where I'm just like, fuck these people. It's Phoenix. It's my home team.
So,
Yeah.
do you have feelings towards Las Vegas Lights? Or like
Their show.
no worse than Nisa?
I mean, it's no worse. It's Nisa fuckery, but with more money to spend on stupid gimmicks.
Oh my
Right.
god.
Like, they literally have beds on the field, you guys.
Yeah, beds on the field. Yeah, like watch. Go to the USL Championship website. Everybody that's watching this, okay, go there. Look at they've got really nice little highlight packages. And when you watch the Las Vegas Phoenix highlights, you'll see these. Yes, those are beds. Yes, they are. Like the ball can bounce onto the people laying on the beds. Like they're in front of the ad boards.
The beds, like sometimes it's just too far. Like, I appreciate that it's Vegas and they have to be gimmicky and like they are embracing their Vegasness.
Right.
Did the beds hold on.
It's gotta be like a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
It's
Is
a sponsor
there
deal, right?
a reason for these beds, or they're just beds?
It's some kind of sponsor thing, and I think fans can lay in them during the match.
It's yeah,
What's the over under before like somebody decides that they're gonna have like ringside sex in there? You know what I'm saying?
It's Vegas, like
Right.
It has to happen. Like, it's like some sponsor gimmick. I mean,
does it happen every match, or was it like this match?
what?
Did it? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm like flabbergasted by these beds. Did I have so many questions about these beds. Is this always beds?
I think I know it's been this season. I don't know if they were a sponsor last season.
I think they had some bed. I've heard of this before from Las Vegas, I think.
Is this in their first bed issue?
Right.
No, and I've heard that like there's been some player complaints and like people have crashed into them and like knocked themselves up and like it's
Someone got knocked up?
Wow.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we're getting all Dave Matthews Band in here.
But yeah, it has to be gimmicky. It's Vegas. But I mean, the organization as a whole is just kind of a shit show. Their first season, they had that coach that tried to fight people.
Yeah. They hired what's his name? The
Ronaldo.
Cigarette smoking. No.
They did hire
Mexican.
Yes.
Oh,
It starts with a C. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm completely blanking now that I'm trying to think of
He
it.
tried to fight Phoenix fans. That's what I remember.
A player or
The coach.
Coach.
Oh
Yeah.
man, it really is
God,
Nisa.
what is his?
Really is Nisa with
Nisa with more money.
Like the dude had been I think like a Chivas USA coach before.
sounds right.
And he's one of those crazy like get her, like get her, he's just like like lay into guys like
Wow.
Yeah.
Something.
That's like
how come I'm so embarrassed I can't remember this dude's name.
it's one of those things. Live television, folks.
Yeah, okay, well, let's move on.
So no.
One of Sarah's notes to me is like when you can't remember something, just move on.
Yeah,
Stop talking.
We're good.
Okay.
We're good. We're just
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
so shit show like Jam. I think you've said it best.
They had Freddie Adu for a while too.
Yeah.
Speaking of shit shows.
Yeah, like this guy's been
Man.
all over the place. So I mean we're coming up on hour and 25 or hours and a
Yeah.
half, so I'm good with calling it.
We need to move out.
Anything else? It's gonna be cold, bundle up.
Start taking your vitamins. Don't end up with a probable sinus infection.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gloves.
Gloves. Gloves are important.
Don't get them wet. Thanks for tuning in. Right? Same time, same place next week.
Yeah.
gonna-
Jamie's like, I guess.
we'll see.
Thanks, whatever.
Thank you, Jam, for all your insight and your personal stories about what was his name, Jesse.
Jesse.
What's this guy?
Jesse,
Yeah.
I doubt you're listening, but if you're listening, if you come to Key Worth, you will not pay for alcohol.
Yeah.
But you have to drink
We
it
will
through
hook
the
you
suit.
up. And you could even wear a ghillie suit if you wanted. That'd be fine. I'll hook you up there.
Yeah, so same time, same place next week. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Jam.
Thank you, Dion. Bye, Jamie.
Fuck Ohio.
Fuck Vinny Bell.
Fuck Vinny Bell.
Wow, I need to go even more specific. A little more specific. I have nothing.
Fuck when you can't remember people's names.
Yeah, fuck